Are Airbnbs slowing down? Have you noticed that Airbnbs are getting less bookings over the last few months compared to the last couple of years? This is literally a question that I must get asked at least once a week, if not more, because people are curious. People want to know, are we seeing a slowdown in Airbnb bookings? So this video is to answer that question. Let's talk about it. I can go into a lot of depth about this, but I'm going to try to keep it short. So in this video, I'm also going to try to keep it short so that I'm not boring you to death with all my thoughts on this. But I do want to answer the question to the best that I can. And the short answer is yes. Airbnb bookings are slowing down, but the important piece is that that slowdown does not need to impact you. And I can explain in this video why that is, but let's start with the elephant in the room. Yes, Airbnb bookings are slowing down compared to last year and the year before, but anyone that was an investor for a long time or has been looking at the numbers knew that was going to happen. The more accurate statement is to say that Airbnb bookings radically sped up over the last 2 years. They're not actually slowing down this year so much as they sped up massively in a lot of markets over the last couple of years. Because when the global pandemic happened and international travel shut down, it meant that a lot of the more local travel, more staycation type destinations became really desirable. People couldn't travel internationally. They couldn't go and spend their summer in Europe. So they would go and spend some time at a cottage or near a national park, or they would travel somewhere domestically because that's all they could do. A lot of times hyper locally within a couple hours drive, because who wanted to get on a plane during that time? And so naturally we saw a nearly 50 to 100% increase in bookings and revenue in a lot of major markets during that time. So yes, bookings sped up dramatically, and yes, in some markets they are starting to slow down back to normal, but here's a couple of caveats. Number one is that normal should still get you a really, really good return on your investment. If you're an intelligent investor who has made smart decisions and run proper analysis, then normal is great. Normal means that you're still making a really solid cash on cash return. Your properties are cash flowing positive and all is good. Even with rising interest rates, you should still be in a really nice cash flow positive position. I can say that we are on our portfolio, and that's a really great thing, but that's because of proper analysis. So the other thing to say is that a lot of markets are slowing down, but not even close to back to normal. We're seeing a lot of markets that are slowing down, tapering off a bit from where they were, but they're actually sustaining quite well at the new, much higher revenue numbers, which again is a huge bonus. And then other markets are actually seeing an increase. Certain property types in certain markets are seeing a massive increase year over year compared to last year in revenue. And so it's not necessarily a one size fits all answer, because it does depend on the property that you have, what you bought it for, if you were smart about buying it, or whether you kind of YOLO'd your money into it like a lot of investors did over the last couple of years, where your property is located, what type of property is, all of these different factors. And so naturally, even though we are seeing a slowdown, it doesn't actually have to impact you. Not only for those reasons, but more importantly, no matter what property you're in, I always like to explain a really important concept when I talk about this. And it's that most people, when they think about Airbnb bookings slowing down in a given market, they expect that everyone is going to feel that impact very evenly. And so they expect that if there's, arbitrarily speaking, let's just say 1,000 properties in a given market, that all 1,000 of those properties are going to see a 10% drop in bookings if they look at the numbers and see if there's a 10% drop in bookings, or if the media says there's a 10% drop in bookings. They just expect that all those properties are now going to see a 10% drop in bookings. And that is very, very far from the true reality of what happens. Because naturally, every property is different. Every property is more or less desirable than the other one next to it. And so what actually happens when you're in a market where every single item, every single product, right, these short-term rental properties is different, is that the better ones are going to feel almost no impact, when the worst ones are going to feel a lot more impact. Sure, it might average out to a 10% drop in the market, but we're not actually seeing a 10% drop in bookings across all listings. A lot of listings are still seeing an increase or staying steady, or seeing maybe a 1 or 2% decrease, while others are seeing a 20% decrease. And so how do you make sure that you're not one of those others that are experiencing a large decrease? well, you make sure that you actually are good. And that's a bit of a rude thing to say for some people because their listings aren't good. But I'm here to say that, look, if you want to be a professional and you want to actually invest intelligently or manage properties professionally as short-term rentals, you've got to actually be good. For the last couple of years, you could get away with being bad. Like, you really could just take some pictures on your smartphone, throw something up, and in a lot of markets, it would get booked for almost any price. You didn't have to be good. But nowadays, you actually do have to be good because there isn't some crazy big surge in demand that's outpacing supply. You actually have to know what you're doing. And so this comes down to having a good pricing strategy, having good listing description, having a good headline, having good photos, having good amenities at your property. All of these things make a difference, because what happens is if there's 1,000 units available and only 500 people booking properties, it's not that every single property gets booked evenly and they all see a decrease. What really happens is that 500 or so of the properties get booked again and again and again, and another 500 just sit relatively vacant and have a really hard time performing. I just spoke with someone this morning that has beautiful listings that should be booked all the time, and they're booked at under 40% occupancy. And it's purely because they don't have the best listing description. They could improve their listing performance overall, their SEO, get it to rank higher in the search results. They could have a much better pricing strategy. They absolutely nailed the design. They even did a pretty good job of photography, I have to say, but they didn't have the needed pieces in order to rank really high in the search results and have the right pricing strategy to get booked more often. And so because of that, their listing is suffering when it just doesn't need to be. So the reality is the end result here is that yes, we are seeing declines in some markets for short-term rental bookings overall, but if you know what you're doing, then you can still find really, really great deals. There's actually way more really great deals for purchasing short-term rental properties now than there were 6, 12, or 24 months ago. And you can also get your property performing really well. We do a lot of turnarounds with people these days, just helping them take underperforming listings and get them performing a lot better. And it's absolutely possible if you have the right listing and you're ready to actually get professional about it and do things the right way. Because again, it's not everyone that's gonna feel that impact. It's really only the bottom 80% of the market, 75% of the market that's generally gonna feel that impact. So if you can be in that top 25%, like the vast majority of the people that we work with are, or even better, in the top 10%, then you get to experience very, very little impact when things do take a drop. You get the luxury of still maintaining really great bookings, really great nightly rates, really great occupancy rates, and not seeing a drop in your revenue the way that other hosts are. Because again, not all properties are created equal. So if you have the one that stands out and does the best, then you're gonna get it booked while the other properties sit vacant. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it shed light on this topic for you, and I hope you got some value from it. If you did, let me know by just hitting that like button. It does really help out a lot with getting these videos in front of more people and helping me to grow the channel and help more people to invest successfully in short-term rentals. So if you liked the video and you got value from it, please do give it a thumbs up there. Also, let me know if you have thoughts, questions, comments. Just let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? We post 2 new videos every single week here on the channel, helping you to improve your short-term rental hosting, your short-term rental investing, your short-term rental management. So make sure you subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the 2 new videos we post every single week here on the channel. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.